Hey guys, so today I wanted to bring you a pure Cyber Dragon deck profile for the current format that doesn't use the Dragoon package. So I thought I'd give this pure build a run for the last couple weeks, and I actually liked it a lot. Now personally, I would say I'd still give the slight edge to the Dragoon variant, mainly because I like to intentionally go first post side against some of the top combo decks, but I know a lot of you don't want to mix Cyber Dragons with Dragoon, and I totally respect that, and so I'm bringing you this profile that I've been testing, and I'll show you a ranked gameplay against Zoodiac after the profile and show you some of the cool interactions with the deck. So let's just get started. Alright, so I thought I'd just lay out the profile in this format this time because I don't want to spend too much time on the profile and want to get straight into the replay. So this section, let's just start here. It's your main Cyber Dragon monsters, and so we have the 3 core of course, then 3 Hertz, 2 Naxter, and the 3 Cyber Dragons. Pretty standard lineup. I don't play the Cyber Dragon Fear, and I mentioned this in my previous profiles. The chain blocking is nice, but I never felt that it was really a necessary card in this deck, especially in the Machine Dupe variant. So if you want to play it, go right ahead, but I never missed that card. Of course, we do have the 2 Galaxy Soldiers to turbo into Nova Infinity. I think 2 is fine, especially in the Machine Dupe build. Next, we have the 3 Cyber Emergencies, best spell card in the deck, and we play 1 Cyber Repair Plant. I used to play 2, but ever since we entered this 10 plus hand trap format, I decided to just cut it down to 1, and to be honest with you, I never actually really missed the second one, so I'm gonna probably keep this ratio. And then we also have the Cyber Ref System, very good card. I actually search for it quite a lot to extend through hand traps when I'm trying to go for the OTK, and it also has another effect where after that special summon monster cannot be destroyed by card effect, so that can actually come up sometimes. And now we also play the Cybernetic Overflow, of course. It's a very good trap card in terms of being able to pop cards, and even though this is a going second deck, it's definitely something that you want to play at least one of in your main deck. Next we have the 2 fusion spells. Now Cyberload Fusion is a card that I do not play in the Dragoon variant because for the most part with Anaconda I end up sending Red Eyes Fusion a lot more than Overload Fusion, so I don't banish Cyber Dragon monsters nearly as much, and I also didn't want to run 3 fusion spells. But in the pure variant without Dragoon, Cyberload Fusion is definitely a good card to have. It comes up a lot in the grind game situation. It's not a card that you generally want to open with though, that's the one issue I would say, but definitely a really good card. And so we have Overload Fusion, which is a very good fusion spell card and really helps you push for that OTK, and it's the card that you're going to be sending with Anaconda most of the time. And then we of course have the 3 Machine Duplications, very good card in terms of being able to push for game, but also when you're forced to go first really helps you get into that Nova Infinity play a lot easier. And of course there are situations where you may not have a target, but the payoff is pretty good and I really like the card. Next we have the Foolish Burial, a really good extender in this deck. You can send the Hertz to get back that core Naxter in your grave, or for example you can send the core to grave, banish it, special summon a baby Cyber Dragon, assuming you don't have a monster and your opponent does, and then now you have a target for Machine Dupe. Next on this section we have the kind of interruptions. So we have the 2 Ash, 3 Nibiru, 3 Gamma, and the 3 Imperm, which gives us 11 hand traps in the main. I think it's a pretty good lineup and pretty generic, probably the most commonly played hand traps right now. And then of course we have the 2 Jizukuru. It's searchable in Cyber Dragons because we do play the Cyber Repair Plant and it can search a light machine monster, and I upped it to 2 this time. I kind of flip back and forth between 1 and 2, but I like it at 2, and it's just a good out to a lot of generic it's a good out to a lot of problematic monsters. And then we also play Pankratops, of course. I think any going second deck most likely will be main decking this card because it's just a good out to a lot of problematic cards. So that's it for the main deck. Let's move on to the extra deck. So for the extra, we're going to start with the 6 Link monsters. So we first have Almirage, of course, mandatory, gets you that normal summon Cyber Dragon monster into the grave. I should clarify the baby Cyber Dragon monster, generally core. And also Anima, this comes up actually with Hertz and Naxter because they are level 1, so you should make the habit of putting that Nibiru token or the Kaiju under the extra monster zone and suck it up with Anima. Then we have Anaconda. We of course played this card before Dragoon was even released because we would send Overload Fusion and bring out Rampage, so really key card in Cyber Dragons. Then of course we played the Seeger. It really helps push for a game, and paired with Rampage, it's just going to do a massive amount of damage on its own. And then we play the Lambda because we are playing the Gamma package, and of course I also play the Nightmare Phoenix because it's just a good generic back row removal, and it doesn't come up that much, but when it does, it's really the card that turned the game around. Then I play the 2 Nova and 2 Infinity. I always play this ratio because I like to bring back the Nova with Naxture and then go into my second Infinity that way. I'm trying out the AA Zeus. To be honest with you, it hasn't really come up that much. It's pretty good against like control decks, for example, but it's an expensive card. You really don't need to play it, and you can just play Constellar Pleiades instead. And then for the fusions, we play the 2 Rampage. I like to play 2 in the pure variant when I have Cyberloop Fusion and Overload Fusion, because then for 1 you can resolve both, and also sometimes, you know, your Rampage can easily come out when your Nova gets Nibiru'd, for example, and that second one honestly can come up, and I like that ratio in the pure build. And then we're just playing the 1 Fortress and 1 Mega Fleet. We generally used to play 2 Mega Fleet, but right now I don't find that you really need the second one, so I kind of like this ratio for the extra deck. So now we can move on to the side. Now as for the side, we do have the 3 Lancia for the Dinos, but also Virtual World, and it can actually be good against some rogue decks as well. We also have the 2 Forbidden Droplet. I really like this card, but I know it's an expensive card and you really don't need to have it. You can just play Dark Rule no more, and that's totally fine. And then here we have sort of the back row hate. We have the Feather Duster, 2 Cyclone, 2 Lightning Storms, and the Red Reboot. I like the ratio. It's always nice to have and important to have some kind of quick play spell trap removal, but also kind of mass removal as well. And Lightning Storms, again, another expensive card, and you can just replace these with Twin Twisters and it's totally fine as well. Then in terms of this section is sort of my going first cards, so I always like to play Summon Limit. I've been playing this for a long time now, and it's really good. And you set up your Infinity and or Dragoon if you're playing that variant, and if you have the Summon Limit against a combo deck, you're probably winning that game. And then of course another Overflow. It can be really good to pop that first normal summon, for example, or against back row decks, or let's say even you know your opponent plays Mystic Mind, then it's just putting that extra one in is just another out to that, and I really like the card. So that's it for the deck profile. So now let's move on to that replay. Alright guys, so let's just hop on to a ranked gameplay against Zoodiac. This match was honestly pretty wild, and I mean, I admit the first game isn't as interesting, but it definitely gets more intense as the match proceeds. So we are going to go second because we did win the die roll, which is very good because he was going second build. So he's just gonna summon out the Whiptail and go into Dryden and pass. So not very intimidating. We're just gonna activate the emergency and add the core. Then we're gonna special the Cyber Dragon, normal the core, use its effect, and we're gonna add that Repair Plant to hand. Next we're gonna go into All Mirage, and this is kind of key in this situation because Dryden can pop and All Mirage can protect from destruction by card effects. So we're gonna use our Repair Plant and summon out the Soldier by pitching the Naxture, and we're just gonna add another Soldier through its effect. And then we're gonna go into Nova. This is our 5th summon. Doesn't really matter, we can kind of play through it by bringing out the Rampage if we get Nibiru'd, but looks like he doesn't have it. And we're just going to bring out that Cyber Dragon using Nova's effect, go into Infinity, and we're actually going to use Foolish Burial here actually, and add another Cyber Dragon from deck to hand. And I'm going to bring out another Soldier, and the only reason I do this, normally you don't have to because you just link off the Almirage and Cyber Dragon, go into Anaconda, bring out Rampage. But right now he has a Dryden on board, and I wanted to protect my Anaconda from Dryden, and so I wanted to have that Almirage still there. That way I don't have to use an Infinity Negate to try to stop the Dryden pop. That way, if he has Nibiru, I can still stop it, otherwise it would just clear my field. So I'm going to use Anaconda, send the Overload Fusion, banish the Hertz and Cyber Dragon, bring out the Rampage effect, we're just going to send 2 Light Machines, enter battle, Dryden's at 4 on defense, so we can actually walk over it with Anaconda, although it does get banished because of Whiptail, and we can attack 3 times with Rampage, and then we can attack with Infinity for that final touch. So we're just going to go straight into game 2. And of course, we are forced to go first here, and our hand is very awkward. We do have the Summon Limit, and we have the hand to bring out Infinity, but not too much. And we're going to use Soldier's effect to try to add, but unfortunately it's met with an Imperm. So I just set the Summon Limit and pass turn. He's going to special out the Pancratops and just beat over my Galaxy Soldier. I draw an Overflow, not great, so we're just going to have to set and pass there. He top decks the Whiptail. I do pop it right away with the Overflow by banishing Cyber Dragon. And looks like he's just gonna attack with Pancratops. I draw the Imperm again. I need a starter, nothing there, so I'm just gonna set that, and looks like it's just gonna be Pancratops beatdown today. So he's gonna set 1 and pass Cyberloop Fusion. I have no idea how I survived this long, but we do just pass, and I'm at 200 life points, so I'm still in this game. So we rip the core, and now we can do something. We're We're going to normal summon the core and use its effect to search. He's going to chain Forbidden Droplet, send the Dimension Shifter as cost to try to negate. I'm going to chain Imperm first to bait out that Pankratops pop. He's of course going to chain it, try to pop my set. And then chain link 5, I'm actually going to use Cyberload Fusion and return that Cyber Dragon that's banished and the core and bring out the Rampage. And now keep in mind, Cyberload Fusion was used chain link 2 or higher, so Rampage effect to pop spell and traps, even if my opponent had some, it would actually miss timing. And if you want to learn more about that, then I encourage you to check out my Cyber Dragon ruling video, which I'll link in the description. So now the other cool interaction here is that core was actually not on the field while Droplet was trying to resolve, so core's effect actually resolves, so I get to add that emergency. Now I'm going to use Rampage effect to send from deck, but unfortunately it is met by Gamma, so my opponent kind of had all the outs there, so that's why I kind of saved the emergency in case something like this happens. So I'm going to add the Naxxter instead now, pitch the Nibiru, special the Naxxter, and bring back the Rampage. Remember, I used Cyberload Fusion, so only that Fusion Summon monster can attack this turn, and because it was sent to the grave, and even though I brought it back with Naxxter, it quote unquote forgets that it was summoned through Cyberload Fusion, so I actually cannot attack with any monsters this turn. But the good news is that Rampage is a soft once per turn, so well, our opponent tries to use Nibiru here, and I tell him that I've only summoned 4 times so far this turn, so he actually takes that back. And with Rampage, we're going to send the Hertz and core, and use Hertz effect so we can add that core back. End phase, Gamma and the driver is banished, and so our opponent top decks the Ram so he can just go into Borbo and attack directly. I mean, considering that I was at 200 life points and with the crappy cards that I drew, I honestly had the potential to come back in this, but unfortunately didn't pan that way. So game 3, I decided to be a little cheeky and try to go first intentionally, assuming that my opponent thought I would be going second, but I don't really recommend this. I think it's just better to side in your back row hate and the like, and just go second against Zoodiac, but I thought I'd try something new and just try to pop his normal summon with Overflow, for example. So we do still have a really good hand in terms of going first. The driver sucks, but I mean, hey, at least we got everything else. So we're going to use core, search that repair plant, we're going to activate Machine Dupe, and we're going to summon out the 2 Cyber Dragons. Go into Nova, and then we're going to go into Almirage intentionally. This is our 5th summon, but we can play through it if he Nibirus us. Now we're going to bring back the Cyber Dragon. I go into Infinity, and this is where I miss playing the Dragoon package. This could have been an Anaconda and bring out the Dragoon, but instead we go into Lambda to try to bluff that we have Gamma. I mean, I'm kind of close, I have the driver. So our opponent's going to start to turn with the Fire Formation Tanky and add the Rat Pier to hand. And he has the Anchor Top, so I guess my plan of fooling him didn't work, so he's going to try to pop the set, and I do negate that with Infinity. And then he uses Triple Tactics talent, looks at my hand, realizes it's pretty bad, but does return that repair plant that I was saving for the next turn. He's going to normal summon the Rat Pier, use its effect and dump the Ram. I am going to use the Overflow and pop the normal summon, but unfortunately he has the Barrage, so he can bring out the Whiptail from deck. So he's going to go into Chakanine, use her effect, detach, bring the Ram. Gonna overlay onto Dryden, use her effect, pop the Ram, that way that brings back the Chakanine, and then he's gonna go into Tiger Mortar, detach, and then the Ram will attach to Chakanine as material, and then Chakanine will just detach that right away, bring back the Dryden. And oddly enough, he's gonna go into Mega Clops here, even though I'm playing Cyber Dragons and I can easily out it, but he does use Mega Clops effect, takes my Infinity as material and gives it to Dryden. And then he's going to use Pot of Avarice and return back some Zoodiac monsters on top of the Pankratops and draw 2. And he's just going to enter battle, and I actually take half damage here because of Mega Clops effect, so I quickly fix that. And then he's going to set 1 and pass. So here I draw Cyberload Fusion, and this can kind of work out. So we are going to banish the core and special the Naxxter from deck and use his effect to try to bring back the Nova. And he's gonna chain Forbidden Droplet again, and it really depends on what he sends for cost. If he sends the Barrage, I cannot respond with spells, but it looks like he sends the Mega Clops, and then that way now I can actually chain Cyberload Fusion. It's kind of the same scenario as game 2. I'm gonna return back the core, Cyber Dragon and Naxxter, and bring out the Rampage, and Naxxter again is gonna resolve because it was not on the field for Forbidden Droplet to negate. And of course I bring back the Nova, but he's also gonna pop the Rampage with the Dryden. And so now I'm going to go into my Infinity, I'm going to suck up the Dryden with Infinity, and I cannot attack this turn because again, I did use Cyber Fusion and that Rampage is destroyed. He's going to try to use Barrage here. I am definitely going to negate that with Infinity. But he has the triple tactics talent and he's going to take away my Infinity. Then he's going to summon the Dragoon, goes into Hammer Kong. Whiptail, Hammer Kong, and then Dragoon. Uses her effect, bring back the Hammer Kong. Goes into Tiger Mortar. Detaches, bring back the Ram to attach to Hammer Kong, and then go into Borbo. And he's going to attack directly with Borbo and Infinity. And then now he's actually going to overlay Zeus on top of my Infinity. That way I cannot get the Infinity back at the end phase. And he's going to set one and pass. So not looking great for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send the Hertz from Grave, add the Cyber Dragon. And then I'm going to special the Cyber Dragon and puts him in this position where A, if he assumes that I play Fortress, does he let it just get contact fuse away, or does he use Zeus effect and send all the other cards on the field to Grave? But looks like he just lets it fly or pass, and I do go into Fortress. Next I'm going to pitch the Driver to special out the Naxter, but he does use Imperm. So I'm just going to go into Anima. I did not special summon off of Naxter, so I'm not locked into machines or anything. So I'm going to use Anima's effect, suck up that Borbo. And I'm just going to link it off right away. Go into Anaconda, use his effect. I am pretty low on life points now, but I send that Overload Fusion, banish the Hertz and the Cyber Dragon, bring out the Rampage, send 2 Light Machines, and then I'm going to attack Hammer Kong with the Rampage and attack twice, and also with Anaconda. And so it looks like our opponent draws another triple tactics talent, so he does concede here, and that is it for the match. Alright guys, so that's it for the pure Cyber Dragon deck profile and replay with commentary. Hope you enjoyed that and hope you learned something if you're new to playing this deck. Anyways guys, that's it for me. Take care.